Hello everyone, and welcome back to the third session of the SpaceClaim course. In this session, we will take a look at some useful options in SpaceClaim that can make our modeling easier and more accurate. We will begin with changing the units, then move on to the docking layout, and finally learn how to create some very simple sketching shapes. Okay, in this part we are basically talking about the design area that you see on the screen. First of all, it is important to know that there are some essential options and settings in ANSYS SpaceClaim that you need to adjust for more accurate and efficient modeling. One of the most important settings is the units. To change them, go to the File tab and then click on SpaceClaim Options. As you can see here, you can go to the Units section. In this part, you can change the system from metric to imperial. For now, we will leave it as metric. Next, you can also change the unit of length. For example, you can switch between meters, nanometers, micrometers, millimeters, centimeters, or kilometers. Personally, I prefer to set it to millimeters. After clicking OK, any sketch I draw will now be in millimeters. To demonstrate, let's change it again. This time, I will switch the length unit to centimeters and then click OK. As you can see, the units are now updated and the sketches will be in centimeters. In the next step, we will talk about the left panel in SpaceClaim and how the docking layout works. As you can see, on the left side, you have the Structure panel, along with other panels, such as the Properties panel, Options panel, and the Selections panel. By holding the left mouse button and dragging, you can move these panels anywhere you want on the screen. You can do this as often as you like, depending on your workflow. After customizing the layout the way you prefer, there is also an option to reset everything back to the default layout. To do this, go to the File tab, click on SpaceClaim Options, and then go to the Appearance section. Here you will find an option that allows you to reset the docking layout. By clicking on it, the panels will return to the original default arrangement. This is a very useful feature to know, especially when you are working on sketches and geometries, since it helps you quickly restore the workspace if things get messy. There are some important options in ANSYS SpaceClaim software that you can see here. One of them is called Snap to Grid, and now I'm going to tell you what is the usage of it and how we can use it better to have more accurate geometry. I will start with Snap to Grid. As you can see on the screen, this is our grid that is made of blocks. Snap to Grid helps us to draw lines and other sketches more accurately. For example, when I choose the line tool and want to draw it here, I cannot draw my line in the middle of a block. It should be exactly on one of the four corners of the block, and there is no other place for me to start or end my line. This helps us to create a more accurate and clean sketch. But sometimes it is not useful for us, and we need to draw in another way. As you can see, when I turn it off, I can draw my line anywhere I want. It doesn't need to be on the corners. It can even be in the middle of a block. But when I turn it on, it will not allow me to place the line in the middle of a block. It has to snap to the corners. For example, here I try to click exactly in the middle of a block, but since Snap to Grid is turned on, the software will automatically move my starting point to the nearest corner of that block. When I turn it off, however, I can freely start the line right from the middle or any other point I prefer. So in summary, Snap to Grid is very helpful when you want precise and well-structured sketches aligned to a fixed grid. But if you need more flexibility, you can easily turn it off and draw wherever you like. Another useful and practical option here is Snap to Angle. Snap to Angle helps us to find and lock to the main angles more easily. For example, when I draw a line, I can see that sometimes it shows random angles like 46.7 degrees. But in practice, we mostly use standard angles such as 15 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and so on. These are the most common angles used in sketches, and finding them quickly can be very practical. When I turn Snap to Angle on, the software helps me to snap directly to these standard angles. For example, it will easily detect 30 degrees without me having to adjust it carefully. Without Snap to Angle, I could still try to find 30 degrees, but it would not be exact and would take more effort. The same goes for other angles like 45 degrees or 15 degrees. For instance, when it is turned off, I might see something like 15.4 degrees instead of exactly 15. But when Snap to Angle is on, the line will definitely snap to exactly 15 degrees. In summary, Snap to Angle makes it faster and easier to find and use the main standard angles, which helps us create more accurate sketches. There is another important option in ANSYS SpaceClaim that I'm going to talk about is in the Display tab. When you go to the Display tab and click on Graphics, there are several available graphic views of your geometry. For example, when I click on Wireframe, I will have a wireframe view of my geometry. I can change it to Enhanced Shaded, and then my geometry will be shown in an Enhanced Shaded view. I can also change it to Shaded or to Hidden Line. The Hidden Line option shows the hidden lines that are behind the geometry. For example, as you can see here, these are the hidden lines that cannot be seen in a normal shaded view, but in this mode they will be displayed. If I change it to Hidden Line Removed, those hidden lines will not be shown. This is the difference between these two options. There is also another option here called Split. With this feature, you can choose how to split your viewport and see your geometry from multiple views at the same time. For example, if I choose 2 vertical viewports, I will have 2 different views of my geometry in the same window. On the right side, I can apply an isometric view, while on the left, I can keep another angle. This helps you to visualize your geometry better in the design area. You can also select 4 viewports, which allows you to see your geometry from 4 different views at once. This is very useful for having a clear visualization and checking every detail of the design from multiple perspectives. I hope this video was useful for you. To benefit from Mr. CFD's services, including simulation, consultation, and training, visit our website and contact us via these addresses.